Wednesday evening, everyone, and welcome to round two of my summer horror reading challenge. In this vlog, I'm going to focus on 3 books that were written in the 70s and 80s. And these 3 books I'm going to show you are very disturbing, and 2 are based on true stories. So, without further ado, let's see what I'm going to read for round 2. The first book I'm going to start tonight is Jack Ketchum's The Girl Next Door. And this is a story based off of a 1960s case that involved a teenage girl that was brutally tortured by her sadistic aunt and neighborhood kids. This is the granddaddy of extreme horror, and it's extremely devastating. So I will update you periodically. It's actually a little bit longer. This goes to 273 without the interview and a couple short stories in here. So, I'm just going to literally read the story and not any of the short stories or interviews, because I'm very pressed for time for this vlog. So, I'm hoping to get this out before I leave for vacation, which is literally the week after next. So, I'm hoping I can knock out this vlog. But anyway, this is the first book I'm going to be reading. The second book I'm going to be reading is The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. And I have read this before, but not in physical form. But this is about the Amityville case where Ronald DeFeo started hearing voices and he was forced to kill his family. A year later, the Lutz family moves in, and they only survive Amityville for 28 days. So this is going to be a very, very horrifying novel. So that is book 2. And the last and final book is going to be Let's Go Play at the Adams by Mendel W. Johnson. And this is just about sadistic kids who just torture their babysitter. And this is actually a Paperbacks from Hell edition. This one was written in 1974. Whereas the Amityville Horror was written in 1977, and The Girl Next Door was written in 1989. So, The Girl Next Door is literally as old as me. But enough blabbing and enough of the whole introduction. Let's start round 2 with The Girl Next Door. This is going to be a tough one. I'll update you when I feel accomplished. I'll see you later. But right now, here we go. Book number 5 of my summer horror reading challenge. Good Friday evening, everyone. And I did not film a thing yesterday because I started this vlog on Wednesday, but I do have some updates. I did start The Girl Next Door on Wednesday. I'm approximately 50 pages in. I just made it to part 2. And part 1 was just basically building the story. It's told from the perspective of David, and it talks about like all the neighborhood kids, and we just got introduced to all of them. So nothing has happened yet, but I got a feeling it's gonna get extremely brutal during this next stretch. Mind you, this is based off of a very, very sad true story. So it's going to be a very, very heavy read. So that's all I got for an update. Nothing bad has happened yet, but it's going to get very brutal. But I'm going to read this for probably a couple hours, see how far I can get, and then update you when I feel accomplished. I'll see you then. But back to The Girl Next Door. Good Sunday evening, everyone. And again, I am terrible at giving you updates. I haven't filmed a thing yesterday because I was like super busy. So I did not get any reading done of The Girl Next Door. So the last time I read this was Friday evening, and I am pleased to say that I made it to page 100. I'm on chapter 18, and I just got to part 3. So last we left, part 2 was starting to get ramped up, and you're starting to get like the intentions of this family and what they do to these girls. So we definitely got a little bit of the sinister tones here, and this is literally starting the abuse, and that's going to be pretty much explored in part 3. It started in part 2 at the very end, but this is actually a pretty fast-ish paced novel, but I know it's going to be very, very brutal when I continue with it. Well, actually 153 pages, because I'm not going to read like any of like the short stories at the very end of this and the interview, because I just simply will not have time, because I still got 2 full books to read for this vlog, and I am very, very pressed for time. So I'm just going to focus on reading as much as I can tonight, and I'm actually off tomorrow, thank God for that. So I'm going to use tonight and tomorrow, and I'm going to try and finish this so I can move on to book 2. Like I said, I am very pressed for this vlog, and all these books are roughly 250 a piece. So no more time wasted. Let's go ahead and read as much as I can of The Girl Next Door before I go to bed at night. But I'll definitely read a lot more tomorrow. But that's my little update. I'll see you in the next update. But The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. Hello again. Quick update. I officially made it to part 4, and this is the part that is synonymous with this entire story. Guys, we're getting into the dark stuff now. especially chapter 24. It's just one sentence. Where it went was to the basement. So, yeah, we know that there is going to be some extreme abuse going on very, very soon. But I managed to make it to chapter 25, page 127. So, I've only read 27 pages, but I knew that moment was coming up. So, this is going to get rough. But back to reading. I'll see you in the next update. Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. And been a couple days since I updated you, but I am back with another update. I'm still reading The Girl Next Door, and I actually got to part 5 as of last night. And this is really starting to get very brutal. And that definitely showed at part 4. Because part 4 was literally all about the ways that Ruth and the neighborhood boys tortured this poor girl. Especially when they had her literally strung up on like a crossbeam, kind of like she was crucified, and they made her stand on 3 encyclopedias, and they removed every single one, just making her hang there. There's no justification on what really went through these kids' minds, but this is some very brutal stuff. But it actually does read like a very dark thriller, which I definitely do believe that this is more of a dark thriller than extreme horror, despite how dark it really is. So, I'm currently sitting on page 187, and my goal for tonight is to finish this thing. So, like I said before, there are a couple short stories at the end of this thing, and author interview, but I'm going to skip that so I can move on to book number 2. I'm hoping to finish this vlog like no later than next Tuesday or Wednesday, because I really got to get it out before I leave for vacation. So, without wasting any more time, I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and I will report back to you later tonight. I'll see you later. And I already know that this is going to be a brutal, depressing ending. But I'll report back to you very, very soon. See you later. The Girl Next Door. Hello again. It's a couple hours later, and I did manage a little bit of more reading, but I haven't finished this yet. I'm on page 217. So, last I updated you, it was literally more abuse, and we do know that David is trying to save Meg from this horrific situation. And inevitably, we all know where this goes. So, I'm almost done with this, but this is just like a really, really quick update. So, I mean, nothing else major has happened, but I'll probably finish this in an hour, then I'll come right back. I'll see you when I finish this. Alright, let's do it. And I'm back. I finished it, and I have no words on how disgusting this novel really was. It was insane. That ending was truly depressing, and I know David wanted nothing more but to help Meg escape the horrors of this house. But in the end, Ruth got her comeuppance, but Meg did not make it. And it was definitely a very heartbreaking ending to this novel. This is probably one of the most brutal reads I've read since Full Brutal. But this focused more on like torture and just sexual depravity. It was a little much at times, I'll tell you that much. But it was just disgusting that this was actually based on a true story. And I don't even know if I would technically rate this because it is very, very disturbing. But it was a very solid book, despite how messed up it really was. But I guess I would just go ahead and give it 5 stars because it really was that gross. So I finally conquered it. The Girl Next Door is complete. Like I said, I did not read any of the bonus material in here because that would have been like another 50-ish pages. And I already read about close to 100 pages tonight to finish this. But that is book 1 complete. Book 2 should be an easier novel to get through, despite that it is another disturbing true story. Book 2 is going to be The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. And of course, if you don't know the story to this by now, it's about Ronald DeFeo and his influence on murdering his entire family because he claimed that he heard voices inside his head. So a year later, a new family moves in and they only stay at the Amityville house for 28 days. This is the quintessential haunted house story. And this edition goes to $230 without the afterword. So it should be a easy-ish book to get through. It actually has some blueprints there, if you can see it, but kind of hard to. So I did listen to this on audio. I think it was about like 2 or so years ago, but I'm definitely thrilled to like reread it in physical form. So don't know if I'm going to start this tonight, but I'll more than likely start it tomorrow because I just literally read the rest of this book and I'm like starting to get a little bit sleepy here. But the Amityville Horror will be next on the docket. I will see you in the next update. So, I might just call it for tonight. I'll see you then. Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone, and just a very, very quick update. Last night I did finish The Girl Next Door, and I already gave you my thoughts on it. So this afternoon I'm officially going to start The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. But I'll give you a refresher if you don't know what this is about by now. This is the quintessential haunted house story that inspired the Lutz family and their supernatural story behind it. So this is definitely based on a true story, but a lot of people called it a hoax. But they pretty much called the Lutz family fakers. But this is based off of the Ronald DeFeo murders, where he went around the Amityville house and murdered his entire family by shotgun. And a year later, the Lutz family moved into the house, and they only lasted 28 days. And their story has been very questionable throughout the years. The Warrens actually investigated this whole case, so that was another controversial thing. But very excited to reread this, and I will report back to you when I feel accomplished. So that'll probably be like a couple hours from now, but right now I'm going to read as much of the Amityville Horror as I can. So the chapters are based on the day in which the Lutz family is in the house. So like I said, it's basically 28 days of just haunted house horror. But here we go. I'll report back to you as soon as I can. The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. Well, Wednesday evening, and I'm here for an update. I started the Amityville Horror last night, and I made it to page 61, and I'm on chapter 8, December 26th. So basically this is starting to like ramp up with all like the haunted activities, if you will, and we are getting immersed into the story of what really happened at the Amityville house once the Lutz family moved in. So practically I read the first week of what happened there, and it ended on Christmas Day. So essentially it starts off where the priest wants to bless the house, and then he hears a maniacal "Get out!" And then from there, George wakes up at 3:15 every single morning to see what's in the boathouse, and it turns out he's getting very delusional. He's starting to become a little bit more aggressive towards his family, and he's always wondering why it's so cold in the house. So this follows the blueprint of the movie very, very well. Obviously the book was written first, so the movie would follow the book a lot more. But anyway, when it came to Christmas, it ended on the note where George saw the pig in his daughter's room. And that is a very campy moment in the original Amityville Horror movie, where you just see like this giant pig with red eyes in that top window. But so far this is definitely holding up very well as a good haunted house story. And I'm on chapter 8, December 26th. So I'm going to read for a while and I'll update you next time. But let's get back into it. I'll see you later. Good Saturday evening, everyone, and I'm back for another update. I didn't film anything at all last night because, I do have a life outside of reading, so I'm free to do whatever I want. But anyway, last I updated you was Thursday. I made it to page 105, and I'm on chapter 13 of the Amityville Horror. I guess I should have showed you that. But yeah, this is just continuing the story, and we are at New Year's now. So they've been in the house for like a week and a half now. And I'm pretty much halfway through this. So I'm going to read as much as I can tonight, and then maybe try and finish this tomorrow. Guys, I have 4 more days to finish this vlog. So I'm going to do the best that I can. But right now, I'm going to focus on the Amityville Horror. I'll see you in another update. Sooner rather than later, hopefully. But back to reading. Good Sunday afternoon, everyone, and I'm in for another update. I'm still reading the Amityville Horror, but I did read almost 50-ish pages last night before I went to bed, so that gets me to page 151 exactly, and this goes to 230. My goal for today is to finish this, so I'm gonna try my darndest, but it's starting to get a little bit repetitive, especially with Father Mancuso, which is the father that originally blessed the house, and he started feeling very, very sick. And we know now that George Lutz has been going to this bar and he's getting like creepy looks, and they're wondering if that is actually Ronald DeFeo. So the movie follows the book. There we go. But it's good, but to me, it's not really all that scary. Yeah, I'm sure it is a pretty horrifying situation, but it can be a little bit cheesy at times. They were like wondering where this marching band came from, and it just automatically stops. But I'm still enjoying it, and that's literally my only goal for today, is to finish this, so I can move on to the last and final book, which that is nearly 300 pages. So that's like 278 pages. So I got a lot of reading to do in like the next few days. Bear with me. I'm hoping to get this vlog out no later than Thursday or even Friday. But gotta finish these books first. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the last of the Amityville Horror, and I'll check in with you later. Hello again. It is hours later, and I'm still working on the Amityville Horror. So we're getting very, very close to the end, and I'm on page 191 of 230. So still going through like all the haunted house shenanigans, and Father Mancuso is just still telling them get out before everything goes bad, but they pretty much provoked the demons and all that. So I'm gonna finish this in literally an hour, but it's time to finally wrap this thing up. I'll see you when I finish it and give you my thoughts. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I did it. I finished the Amityville Horror. And this book really does hold up. It is kind of cheesy, but the movie adaptation is a little bit better than the book. It definitely goes into a little bit more darker territory, but it's a pretty solid haunted house story. And I've always loved the movie growing up, but a lot of people called this story like a hoax because they were kind of pressured into telling their story to like the media and everything. So they just wanted recognition. But I do believe that this family was haunted by this malevolent force. So overall, pretty good book. The first time I read it was through Audible, and I think reading the book physically made it a little bit better, because there were probably like a lot of parts that I missed on the audio read, but I caught up with everything. So overall, on my reread of the Amityville Horror, I would probably actually give it a 4-star. Pretty solid book. So George wasn't as crazy in here as he was in both of the movie adaptations, but he was more sympathetic, really. And yeah, solid little book here. And on that note, I've got one more book for this vlog, and oh boy, I really have to fly through this thing because it's the longest of the 3. This is Let's Go Play at the Adams by Mendel W. Johnson. And this is about a group of kids who just, you know, bound their babysitter. And these kids are pretty messed up. So let's see what happens with this. But this came out in 1974, so it is the oldest book on this vlog. And I'll get started on this tomorrow and let you know where I go. But right now, I've done enough reading today. But I'll definitely start that tomorrow. Let's Go Play at the Adams. Good Monday afternoon, and welcome to the 1st of June. So, I'm still doing my second vlog, but I have to get over this hump. So, I'm definitely going to start reading this today. I'm just going to read until my heart's content and try and wrap this vlog up no later than Wednesday. But guys, we are talking 278 pages. Do you think I can do it in the span of 3 days? God, I really hope so. But Let's Go Play at the Adams is my last book in this vlog. And I'm going to remind you what it's about. They're just kids. It's only a game. That's what Barbara, a lovely 20-year-old babysitter, told herself when she awoke, bound and gagged. But the knots were tight and painful, and the children would not let her go. They're just kids. It's only a game, she told herself again, but the terror was real and deadly. Let's go play at the Adams. So, these kids sound pretty disturbed, and let's see what happens. So my goal for today, and obviously possibly into tonight, is to reach page 100 and change. So without further ado, I'm going to start my final book for the 70s and 80s horror classics vlog. Here we go. Well, hello everybody. It is hours later, and I'm on page 80, chapter 3. So, quite an accomplishment. But so far, this book is all over the place, if I'm being honest. I mean, it is kind of a simple story. It's just like these deranged kids that literally play a game with their babysitter. But it's just narratively scatterbrained. And they practically just starve their babysitter, and they just keep tying her tighter and tighter. So far, it's not very graphic, but it is kind of disturbing. So, my hope is to take a break for like an hour and then try and like read the last 20 pages to make it to page 100 tonight. I started reading this at around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and of course I had a little bit of a break in between, but I think 80 pages for the first day of reading a book is fantastic. So that's a little small update. I'll update you when I get a little bit further. Again, I really want to have this vlog out before I leave, so it's on me to get this done. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next update. It's Tuesday afternoon, and I don't have much of an update, but I'm still making my way through Let's Go Play at the Adams. And so I started this last night, and I did not make it to page 100, unfortunately. I was exhausted. So that's going to be my goal tonight, is to read as much of this thing as I can, so I can possibly finish it tomorrow. I mean, so far, it is an interesting story, but in my opinion, it is kind of all over the place. Well, I mean, I've been reading so much yesterday, I cannot retain that information. But essentially, these 5 kids just bound and gagged their babysitter just for fun. So, like I said, nothing graphic has happened yet, but I bet this story gets a little bit darker. So, that's my goal tonight, is to read as much as I can of this so I can end this vlog. But right now, let's do it. Well, hello everybody. It is hours later. It's now 9:30. And I am pleased to tell you that I'm now on page 150. So I have approximately 127 pages left. and this is starting to get a little dark. So still, they bound and gag her every day, barely feed her, and now they are interested in having sex with her, especially the boys. Mind you, Barbara here is only 20, and the boys are like teenagers. So it's starting to get a little uncomfortable at times, but I'm still trucking along with it, and I am really, really hoping to finish it by tomorrow or the latest Thursday. I might have to either postpone the vlog upload or try and get it to you guys early Friday morning. I'll try my best, but I'm almost done with this book. I started on page 80, so I like literally read about 80 to 150. Yeah, I read about like 60 plus pages today. I'm still trucking along, and maybe I might read a little bit more in a minute, but I'm taking a break here. So that's my little update. I'll see you later. Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone, and just wanted to update you a little bit. I'm officially roughly halfway through Let's Go Play at the Adams, and I'm hoping to literally finish as most of this as I can tonight, because I am on a very, very strict schedule. So I'm sitting on page 150, and this is 277 pages. I have 127 pages left to read in the course of a day. So regardless, I think this is going to be uploaded while I'm probably on vacation. So I'll try my best with it. If not, then I will definitely upload it after vacation. I'll try my best, but I'm going to read as much as I can of this tonight, leading up to bedtime. So that gives me about like 4 hours. Yeah. But anyway, where I left off, it was literally just about these kids sexually molesting this girl, and the two girls had no problem with it, and this is actually a pretty messed up novel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hopefully get to a good stopping point before I go to bed. Let's crack open Let's Go Play at the Adams one last time, or one final time tomorrow. Here I go. Hello everyone. This looks to be the second to last update. I made it to page 200. So far I've read 50 pages. And I still have 77 pages left. Guys, it's going to be a late night. I'm really hoping to like finish this by at least 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So I'm not stopping. I'm finishing this once and for all. But they are now talking about possibly unaliving Barbara. And it's starting to get a little crazy again to think that kids are actually doing this. And now they're trying to blame basically a picker on her death. So we'll definitely see how messed up this really gets near the end. But that's literally how much I have left. Again, whoever thought that I'd read a nearly 300-page book in 3 days? I guess that calls for determination and speed. So I just wanted to come on here real quick and let you know that I am almost done with this. I'll see you when I finish this, or at least tomorrow. But right now, let's do it. Good late Thursday night, and it's time to finish this thing. I'm literally only 47 pages away. That is literally my goal tonight. So I can finally try and upload this in the morning before I leave. So without further ado, let's finish Let's Go Play at the Adams. I'll report back as soon as I'm done. It should take me probably about like an hour to get through it. I'll see you then. Gonna be a late night. Good early Friday morning. I'm pleased to tell you that I'm approximately 16 pages away from finishing Let's Go Play at the Adams. So I literally read as much as I can of this last night before I fell asleep. Like I said, I did not finish it, and that is okay. But I leave this afternoon and I'm ready to finish this vlog. So without further ado, let's finish this book so I can have this vlog up probably while I'm on vacation. So after I'm done with this could probably take me about like 20 or so minutes. I'm going to rank all 3 of the books that I read for the second vlog. So I think I ended up stopped reading this at around 11 last night. So I probably read for like an hour and a half to get to where I am. So let's see how this thing ends. I'll report back to you as soon as I'm done. I'll see you then. Well, after basically an hour, I finished it. And I gotta say, this ending was very, very disturbing. Holy crap. So, this ended up being a very slow burn horror novel, and it is definitely messed up. So, it wasn't as good as The Girl Next Door, but it definitely had that same type of vibe, where these kids were just like torturing their babysitter. And I gotta tell you, this really went very, very dark throughout. And this was just like a game to these kids, and the only way to win the game was to kill Barbara, the babysitter there. But this was a solid book. I would probably give it a 4-star. And with that, I'm finally ready to rank all of these books and wrap up this vlog. So let's do it. And third place is going to be Let's Go Play at the Adams. for the reasons I just stated. And I do believe that the book on here is a lot better and even more disturbing. So that's my number 3 pick. Number 2 is going to be the Amityville Horror. This was a very solid haunted house story. It can get a little cheesy at times, but I've always enjoyed this story. I've always enjoyed the movie, and I'm glad I reread this because I actually rated it a little bit higher this time, because I gave this one 4 stars. The first time I read it, I think I gave it like 3 stars, but that was through audiobook. So that is my second favorite book of this vlog, and probably like one of the most disturbing novels I've ever read since Full Brutal. My number 1 is easily The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. Yeah, this one was very, very hard to read at times. Extremely sad, and you definitely know that this was a true story. So, in total, throughout these 3 books, 787 pages. All that in the course of like 2 weeks. Now, if that's not accomplishment enough, I don't know what is. But that's it, guys. These are the 3 completed books that I had for my 70s and 80s horror classic vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and look forward to part 3 when I get back for vacation. That's going to be my Adam Caesar vlog. So I'll get that started when I get back. It's going to be a long vacation, and I really can't wait to bring you more vlogs. But I'm signing off. I'm going to begin my day, and I will catch you later. If you like this sort of content, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will also post my reading vlog playlist on this. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Adios. Peace.